The most dangerous person in any conflict is not the loudest or the strongest, but the calmest one. Miyamoto Musashi understood this paradox and developed a systematic approach to mastering emotions that his opponents couldn't overcome. This method helped him win 60 deadly duels in a row. His four-step system for staying calm works in any modern conflict and begins with a principle most people never consider: emotional distance. When someone yells at you or challenges you, your body instantly floods with stress hormones. Your heart beats faster, your muscles tense, your thinking narrows. This is the trap most people fall into during conflict. Musashi discovered that the key to victory wasn't superior swordsmanship, but the ability to step outside the emotional storm. In his writings, he described how he viewed conflict from above, like watching drifting clouds, without becoming part of the storm. Think back to the last time someone made you angry. In that moment, you became your anger. Your words, actions, and thoughts all served the emotion, not your true goals. Musashi's opponents did just that. They became their anger, fear, or pride. Emotional distance means creating space between what's happening and how you respond. When someone insults you, instead of snapping back, you notice the feeling rising in you. I feel anger right now, you think. Not, I am angry. That small shift in wording changes everything. Musashi honed this skill by facing increasingly dangerous situations while maintaining this mental stance. In his most famous duel against Sasaki Kojiro, his opponent arrived irritated and impatient. Musashi deliberately arrived late, pushing Kojiro further off balance. While Kojiro became his anger, Musashi remained detached, seeing the conflict clearly. To develop this skill, start with a simple practice. In any conflict, even a small one, when you feel strong emotions, say to yourself, I notice that I feel angry. This creates a tiny space between you and the feeling. With practice, that space grows. Modern research confirms Musashi's intuition. Brain scans show that people who name their emotions activate the prefrontal cortex, the brain's rational center, which calms emotional areas. That's why therapists teach patients to label their feelings under stress. But emotional distance alone isn't enough. Once you create space, you must understand what's coming next in the conflict. This brings us to Musashi's second principle, anticipatory awareness. Musashi called it foreknowledge, the ability to sense what will happen before it does. In his book The Book of Five Rings, he wrote about predicting an opponent's movements. It's not mind reading, it's understanding human patterns. When someone is angry, they follow predictable paths. When someone feels threatened, their responses narrow to a few likely options. Musashi studied these patterns obsessively, like a skilled chess player seeing 5 moves ahead. He didn't guess, he recognized patterns and probable reactions. Musashi applied his approach to human behavior in conflict. Our body reacts differently to sudden stress versus anticipated stress. When conflict catches you off guard, your body dumps stress hormones all at once, triggering fight or flight. But when you anticipate a challenge, your brain prepares gradually, releasing smaller amounts of stress hormones that sharpen attention without clouding your mind. In his toughest duels, Musashi studied his opponents in advance. He learned their favorite techniques, temperament, even how they handled pressure. Before his duel with the aggressive Sasaki Kojiro, Musashi carved a wooden sword while traveling by boat. He made it slightly longer than Kojiro's famous long blade, knowing it would give him a small reach advantage. You can develop this awareness with a simple exercise. Before any potentially difficult conversation, take 30 seconds to ask yourself 3 questions. What emotional state is this person likely in? What do they really want from this interaction? What are 3 most likely reactions they might have? This works because you train your brain to recognize patterns. A boss who always criticizes will likely criticize your new idea. A conflict-averse friend will probably change the subject if you bring up something tense. By predicting these responses, you remove the emotional surprise. A modern example supports this principle. In high-stakes negotiations, experienced FBI hostage negotiators spend a lot of time analyzing the personality of the person they're dealing with. They study past behavior to predict future responses. This foreknowledge helps them stay calm when others might panic, choosing words and tactics that de-escalate rather than provoke. Anticipatory awareness turns conflicts from chaotic emotional flare-ups into manageable, predictable situations. But even with emotional distance and foresight, Musashi understood that true calm under pressure required a third key element. The third principle in Musashi's system is strategic breathing. In his writings, Musashi emphasized that breath control was essential for clarity during battle. He noticed that when swordsmen became fearful or angry, their breathing was the first thing to change, becoming shallow, fast, and erratic. Musashi taught that by controlling your breath, you control your mind. In his training, he placed special focus on breathing exercises while practicing sword techniques. Your breath is directly connected to your emotional state. When you're calm, you breathe slowly and deeply. When you're scared or angry, your breath becomes fast and shallow. But the link works both ways. By consciously changing your breathing, you can change how you feel. This works through your nervous system. Fast, shallow breathing activates the sympathetic nervous system. – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – –– The first triggers panic. The second brings calm. Musashi developed a specific breathing rhythm for conflict situations. Before key moments in duels, he would take a single controlled breath. He'd inhale through his nose for 4 counts, pause briefly, then exhale through his mouth for 6 counts. Can you use this technique in modern conflicts? When tension rises, in a meeting, during an argument, or before delivering bad news, use this 4-6 breathing rhythm. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, exhale through your mouth for 6 seconds. Even one cycle brings noticeable calm. Emotional distance gives you space from reaction. Anticipatory awareness prepares you for what's ahead. Strategic breathing creates physical calm to think clearly. But the final principle ties it all together, giving your calm a purpose and direction. The fourth principle in Musashi's method is purposeful action. In his writings, Musashi emphasized that a clear goal is stronger than any emotion. While his opponents often fought from anger or fear, Musashi always fought with a specific purpose in mind. This focus on purpose appears repeatedly in his famous text The Book of Five Rings. He writes that a warrior should not aim to strike first, but should stay focused on the ultimate goal. For Musashi, every move, every decision served a larger purpose than just winning the current duel. A clear goal changes the course of a conflict. When someone challenges you and you respond emotionally, you play by their rules. But when you focus on your larger goal, you control the direction of the interaction. Think of arguments that spiral out of control. They often start with a specific issue but quickly devolve into old grievances, personal attacks, and pain. That happens because both people lose sight of any goal beyond defending themselves or hurting the other. A simple technique for maintaining purposeful focus comes directly from Musashi's method. Before any potential conflict, define your true goal in one clear sentence. Ask yourself, what outcome will truly serve my long-term aims? Keep that goal in mind throughout the entire interaction. When emotions flare and the conflict escalates, silently repeat your goal to yourself. This creates an anchor for your attention, preventing you from being swept away by fleeting emotions. Your words and actions will then align with that goal, not with your momentary emotional impulses. Purposeful action doesn't mean ignoring emotions. Rather, it means your emotions serve your purpose, not the other way around. This is the culmination of Musashi's system. Emotional distance creates space. Anticipatory awareness offers foresight. Strategic breathing sustains calm. And purposeful action directs that calm toward meaningful outcomes. But what makes these four principles truly powerful? It's their connection to something much deeper than conflict management. These techniques reveal a fundamental truth about human nature that most people never realize. These principles are directly tied to the Buddhist concept of non-attachment. By creating emotional distance, you practice non-attachment to reactive thoughts. Through anticipatory awareness, you step beyond the narrow view of the present moment. With strategic breathing, you recognize the impermanence of emotional states, and through purposeful action, you align with the Taoist idea of Wu Wei, effortless action in harmony with the natural flow. This approach is especially relevant today because we live in an age of constant conflict. Social media algorithms push us toward arguments. Political systems thrive on division. Even personal relationships suffer from increased stress and reduced patience. The modern person faces more conflicts in a day than Musashi may have faced in a month. The great irony is that while we need emotional control more than ever, we practice it less than ever. People react instantly to provocations, send angry messages, post emotional comments, or turn minor disagreements into arguments that damage relationships. The one who remains calm in such an environment doesn't just win arguments, they reach a level of clarity others can't even comprehend. And there's one more thing about the mastery of emotional control that's rarely discussed: it reveals how many conflicts are actually unnecessary. When you stop automatically reacting to provocations, you discover that many conflicts simply dissolve without your participation. A truly strong person is not one who wins every conflict, but one who only engages in the conflicts that truly matter.